one guy who farms one there, he mustn't farm much because he's just got the little, his
Yep.
combine probably isn't from the end of there this wide.
Hello, Jerry.
Are you
He's
looking
got
at
the
me?
old gravity bag. Like, but he's probably been doing that for 40 years.
Okay.
I've got an idea.
It's in the,
Yep.
I did a thing, so
Yep,
Keeps
I know.
plugging
I'll
right
basically
along.
be that.
I was just gonna ask
He's
about
probably
it.
happy as a
Okay,
lamb.
sounds good. Sorry, I had to run, Marshall.
No, you were fine. No, you were fine.
Hello, Jerry.
Hello.
I hope you don't either.
You're gonna be there real soon. None of them silent, but if those two will really get angry and stuff.
Yeah, so did you and,
You and Dan just have double lines
Yeah, Long John's talked about them, like 3 shirts. No, there's only one day. There's only one day that it was like really
Oh my God,
cold.
are you ever bundled up?
Well, this is nothing. He's talking about when I was in Iceland.
It's chilly today though.
There's only one day.
It's not over already. I didn't know we
It
had
was
to
like
start already.
windy, really windy, and
This is what we'll be
that
at.
was the day that we were
Yeah.
driving 6 hours, so it wasn't that bad.
Wasn't as big as, so I kind of have my notes.
Okay.
Or something. And if I do, just hit me. Not hard, not hard.
you've got permission now.
Just hit me.
You all heard it. It's on the recording.
Oh, we're already there.
Tom is gone today. So just 6 of us.
Get over here.
Let me get my agenda.
Did you write this?
No, I saw it there though, it's kind of funny.
What does it mean?
What is it?
It was on the buttons.
Under chair buttons.
Under chair
What?
buttons?
It says something else though, doesn't it?
It says trap
Trap door.
doors under chair buttons.
Oh, it's an ejector.
Oh.
Don't hit that button or you're,
What does that mean? You
So
don't
it means the ones for the council members when you wanna,
Ooh.
when it's time for one to go, then you're,
Start
Oh,
pressing,
man, I
baby.
want one of
Oh,
those
juices,
chairs.
yeah.
then you hit the button and they fall through the trap door on the floor. That's what I'm assuming. I mean, I don't know.
I have a
but-
suspicion, I know who wrote it.
Oh, yeah?
Mr. Dale said.
Oh.
Call it to
Okay,
order.
we will call to order the regular city council meeting for October 9th. I pledge allegiance
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Any corrections or anything to the agenda?
yes, of course, why not, being my first meeting, that I should add something to the agenda for you. So there's going to be a 9A4, it's a request from Lyon County that we added to it, which I don't know if you have a copy of it, but it's not in there. So, and I'll explain that, it's pretty simple, straightforward, I'll explain that when we get there.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve as amended.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Anybody from the audience like to talk about something that is not on the agenda? Okay. Moving right along to the consent calendar.
I'll make a motion to approve the September 25th council minutes, the September 18th budget work session minutes, and the September 19th CCWG minutes. Approve municipal accounts payable and payroll without breakthrough beverage. Approve the September 6th EDA minutes. And approve resolution 2023-93, the ambulance agreement donation request.
I'll second.
First and second, any discussion on that?
I just wanted to comment that on the EDA minutes, that I'm pleased that the EDA is forging forward and trying to develop some more housing in Tracy.
Roll call, please.
Arvisa,
Yes.
Landig,
Aye.
Schmidt,
Yes.
Jones,
Aye.
Teagues,
Aye.
Mayor Corman.
Aye.
I'll make a motion to approve municipal accounts payable for Breakthrough Beverage.
I'll second that.
First and second, any discussion on that one? Roll call, please.
Jones,
Aye.
Landig,
Aye.
Arvisa,
Yes.
Schmidt,
Yes.
Mayor Corman.
Aye. Mayor Council Communication, we have resolution 2023-100. Jeff, you want to tell us about that?
Sure, Resolution 2023-100, interim administrator transition. So as you know that the interim administrator for the fourth, fifth time, whatever, was Shane. And when I did my interviews and when we went through with the hiring committee, we talked about what I'm going to be asking out of Shane over the next 3 months, that if we could keep him on a gradual go down scale, I'll call it, for the $2,000 in October, the $1,500 in November, and $1,000 in December, for what I'm asking out of him on a daily basis. It would be, I'd like that to continue with Shane. And just to throw a little bit in there, right now with what we've paid Shane, what we've saved on the city administrator, after we paid Eric Hansen out, and then what we will save the rest of the year on my salary, it is right at $37,000 that we will save by the end of the year, and everything will be getting done. And that would be with the amounts, the 2,000, the 1,500, and the 1,000 here for November, December, or October, November, and December. So, any other questions on that at all?
Does that estimated 37,000 savings, does that include the health insurance and so
No,
forth?
I just left that the
Yeah.
same, that would be without it, because you can't really put an estimate on that. I mean, we have one less employee,
Yeah.
One way or another, so it would be a little bit in there,
Yeah.
but just with it, came right out at $37,000 in savings by the time the end of the year comes.
And Jeff, that was not included in the budget projections that we had.
Yeah, the budget would have been with all the salaries together, yeah.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2023-100.
Seconded.
Any discussion on that one before we go? Roll call?
Jones,
Aye.
Schmidt,
Yes.
Teagues,
Aye.
Arvisa,
Yes.
Landig,
Aye.
and Mayor Corman.
Aye. We have a couple staff reports. Val, do you want to go?
Okay, so this is about the library art installation that I mentioned during the last budget meeting that we had. This is a little bit more detail on that project. So the mural would be 4 feet by 48 feet, so it's considerably, it's a considerably sized mural. And you're all familiar with the library, so when you come in and you see the children's area, and there's some molding, and there's, I think it changes colors and paint even, and there's a few windows up there, so it would be in that upper section is what we're looking at. And I've got the artist's estimate here for the project, and at the bottom you can see some samples of what it's going to kind of look like. These were from a project that she did in Lamberton. Obviously, we will be doing Tracy historical buildings, and some of them will obviously be current buildings. I would think that we'd have some sort of a train reference in it. She'll develop all of that once we're ready to move forward. So
So would she develop that and present it to us or?
We can
to
certainly do that,
you,
yep.
Or what for?
Yeah, we can get final council approval on the design.
Get the library boards too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I think that'd be very.
Start with them.
Yeah.
yep, we'll start with the library board and then we'll bring it to you for final approval. I'm sure it's gonna be great. The only thing I requested was a squirrel because of our little, I don't know if you were on the council a few years ago and we had a little squirrel in the library
Oh.
for a couple of days during a snowstorm. And then Jason got him and set him free out at the park and it was kind of adorable, so I did request that we get a squirrel in there someplace. So,
Your mascot.
yes, he is our mascot. So you've got the description of the project and the background. So I'm planning to apply for a grant in December from the Southwest Minnesota Arts Council. This is one of their larger grants. I'm not sure how many, applications they get for this. It does require a 20% match. So with the project total cost of $10,547, we would need to provide the match of $2,110. And I just wanted to, bring it up so that we make sure that we've got some money budgeted. And Jeff had some ideas on how we might be able to make that work. So I'll let him touch on that a little bit.
When and if the grant comes through, it would create a budget amendment, but we do have $2,800 coming in from land rent that wasn't in our revenue budget for this year because we didn't really understand that there wasn't a contract for the land that we have out there on Front Street with the FFA. So there is $2,800 there that you could potentially use with something like that if it all goes through with the art council and they come through and the library board approves it. So it would be a budget amendment, but it's a place.
What happens if we do not get the grant?
Then we probably just don't do the project.
Okay, so the project is contingent on.
It is contingent on the grant at this time, yes.
Fair enough.
And the artist,
Right,
you must be aware of that.
yeah.
So Jeff, are you suggesting then that we not put anything in the budget that we're going to be working on this fall and finalizing, and then if we get the grant, then next year, then kind of deal with it at that time?
Well, I think if I heard this right, we will know when about the grant.
It should be early 2024. I think it would have a start date of February is what they have a pretty quick turnaround with those SMOC grants. So we should know by early 2024.
So we would have to know, one way or another, because it's this year that we have it, and I'd have to ask. I don't know that I can answer that for sure, whether or not, since that is new, that $2,800 for the land out there rent, I don't know if that was put into the revenues for 2024 or not.
Okay, but we did budget money for 2023 for a community art project.
Correct.
Yes.
And we'll be talking about that in a little while.
Yeah.
But is that going to be
Different
known by
one?
2023 either?
I believe.
We may not have used all of it in 2023. We're hoping to use at least some of it yet this year and then carry over any remaining funds till next year.
It's a time.
Yeah. And, we didn't include anything in the budget for a community art project in 2023 or 2024, excuse me. So that's why I was hoping if we did have some left over, we could just keep that reserved for that purpose.
So there's no way to know of that grant for this one though before the end of the fiscal year?
There isn't. Yeah, I think the deadline is December 13th, so.
Well, since we haven't finalized the budget for 24, couldn't we put $3,000 and more in the budget for that, knowing that we're probably going to have some carryover? And then, like you said, you'll have to check to make sure that the land rent hasn't already been spoken for, so to speak, that we could use that to basically cover the,
And so we didn't have a lot of money left to
no.
Right.
That's what I'm saying,
designate.
if the land rent hasn't been moved somewhere already, if we could designate that portion.
I think we'd be safer doing that than saying we're gonna add it into the 2024 now, because the 2024 money has kind of been delegated out. We can move it after the fact, but to sit there and say we wanna add another 3,000 could, I mean, it can't affect the levy negatively because we can't go up, but I guess that's where I'm thinking it might be less
Wait and see what happens and then,
confusing than trying to add it into 2024 now when that budget was pretty much all spoken for. But if the land's not, that could easily be a budget amendment then next year.
I'll keep you abreast of what's going on with it, and I'll talk to Tyler about it also. So I'll be able to keep you updated on it.
I think it's a great idea.
I think it's going to be really cool. And it's going to, you know, touch on the history of the community, which I really,
And you said
Which I really
the
like.
dimensions were 4 feet by 48.
yeah, it's a pretty huge area. So it's going to be, yeah, like I said, it's a huge project. It's going to be very noticeable. I'm hoping a lot of people are going to want to come in and see it. So,
Would she be working on segments of it in the library, or is she doing it off-site and then bringing it to the library?
yeah, she'll be working on it in the library.
Oh.
So we'll probably be setting up some scaffolding.
But they can't do something like that on the outside of the building.
But this will last longer.
It will.
Without the
That's
weather elements.
It will. It'll last forever. So,
That's a long time, Val.
well, how about all of our lifetime? Does that work?
All of us here will
That
be.
might not be too long.
Right, I was just going to add that. Don't want to be a pessimist.
So really tonight, you're just bringing this as an informational thing. There's no action we need.
Right. Yep. Just wanted to bring you some more information on that since we talked about it at the budget meeting.
Thank you.
Thanks,
You
Val.
want to do Val's second thing so then she can go?
You want, you can.
Yeah.
Second thing.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah,
grab it.
tomorrow At the Boxcar Liquors, A3.
I'm going to pass down some mock-ups for you of just a really rough idea of what the artist has, one idea of what this next project might look like. So, as you mentioned, we've been working on this community art project for 2023. We had budgeted $5,000 for that purpose. We've been working with a local artist to come up with the idea, and she's done a number of community outreach projects during this time. She's done surveys, both online and in print. We had a booth at the Women's Expo. We were at Burgers, Vans, and Brews, and we talked to people the Saturday evening of Boxcar Days in the Midway. We were very pleased at the responses that we got from people, and everybody from, you know, little kids to teenagers to, you know, it was multi-generational. It was really amazing. So we actually had people vote, and we ended up with a tie. Yeah. But we had nearly 200 votes that couple hours that we were out there. And
Awesome.
yeah, in the heat. So it was nice that so many people were coming down and were willing to talk to us. So the two projects that were tied for first place were murals on local businesses and the Sound Garden sculpture. And if we would like to do something yet this year, get something started, we feel like the business murals would probably be the place to start. The other advantage to that is that, you know, hopefully this would be the first of many business murals, starting hopefully on the highway, just to draw attention to those businesses along the highway, and then hopefully it'll continue, you know, further downtown. So Just offhandedly at the budget meeting, Tam mentioned to me about, can you get me a grant to put a sign on the building? And I said, well, if we make it an art project, maybe we can. So then we start talking about train paintings, and I show her one and she shows me one, and I thought, well, maybe we should start there. Maybe we should put a mural on the side of the liquor store building because we're looking to draw attention to that. It's a priority for the council. It meets your goal of working on beautifying, the Highway 14 corridor, and we get a community art project done. So it kind of ticks a lot of boxes. So we're looking for your approval to go ahead and move along with that. Sammy Jo did meet with Tam last week when she got back from her trip, and she started to work on some designs. I sent around a mock-up of one, what it might look like. That's not the final one, but it's a general representation of what we might end up doing. So we have $5,000 budgeted for the project. And so I'm just here to recommend that the council approve business murals as the Tracy Community Art Project, and that we begin work on the mural at Boxcar Liquors. Any questions for me?
We have how much budgeted for this?
$5,000.
And what was that guesstimated cost for this one?
Well, she didn't have the estimate put together when I talked to her today, but it should be done, this week sometime. It'll fall under this amount.
I have no problem. Like you said, we've got 5,000 budgeted. We've said this is something we want to do for the community. So I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2023-99 for the community arts project. And it does state that if the full 5,000 is not used on the liquor store side, that will be carried over for a second mural. And
Right.
It doesn't mean if it's the inside one or another outside,
Right.
but that, I want that included in the motion like it is. Thank you.
I'll second.
A first and second. Does anybody have any questions for that?
So Val, I assume that this would be done in some bluish colors or not, or some fade-resistant colors, and that it's projected then to last for a period of time.
Yeah. She's done multiple murals before, so I'm not exactly sure what that process involves. But, I'm sure it'll have some sort of I don't know what you call it.
Even if you can maybe bring back some information from her, like where she's done them outside
Sure.
and how long ago.
Mhm.
So I know she's not going to give us a guarantee.
Right.
It's not what I'm asking for. I'm asking, so if she says she did one in Lamberton 12 years ago,
Sure.
we can see what it looks like after 12 years, and maybe there's been improvements on the whole way of doing it.
Right. Yeah.
Just kind of maybe give us some
Yeah,
reassurance.
that's what I was just
Of a
getting
kind
at.
of a lifespan expectancy.
Yeah, that a reasonable expectation
Yeah.
that I would have, that it's going to still look nice in 10 years.
Right. I would certainly think so.
And an example might be in Walnut Grove, they've got that beautiful mural of combining Laura Ingalls and Hmong heritage, and that's been there for
Yeah.
quite a number of years now.
Yeah, there's one over in Ballatin on the site of the old lumber yard that they did in 1992 for their centennial, and it's still there. So I think they can reasonably last for quite some time.
Okay, roll call, please.
Schmidt,
Yes.
Arvizo,
Yes.
Jones,
All right.
Van Dyke,
Aye.
Teagues,
Aye.
and Mayor Comment.
Aye.
All right.
Thank you, Val.
Thanks, Val.
Do you have some
Yeah,
updates for us?
I do. I'll try to make these brief. First of all, I'd like to thank Shane, Diane, and Tyler for putting up with me for the last 5 weeks since I've known I'm going to be taking over the city administrator position here. I've asked a lot out of the three of them, especially Shane and Diane and Tyler, for as much as I've learned. So I wanted to thank the three of them for all the time that they've spent with me and not being afraid just to call me and say, hey, fool, you can't do that, or no, you can't do that, or yes, you should do that. So it's been nice to have the experience that they have to help me out there. I want to quickly go over my schedule. I've got a couple days of training this week with housing, ethics training, Minnesota housing, and then also I'm meeting up with 3 new city administrators that are from the area on Thursday and Friday. And then also next week, Sandy and I have it's an annual MEA weekend type of thing. So it's Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. I'll be gone next week for 3 days of vacation. So just to let you know that we're gone. A couple days this week with training and meetings, and then next week 3 days, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. But before I leave on Tuesday, we'll have gone over what's going to be on the meeting, the agenda for the city council meeting that following Monday. Staples training was eye-opening. League of Minnesota Cities is wow, what a tool. You know, I used them a few times over the past 6 years, but not to the extent that you can use them. It was a tremendous learning experience being up there for those 2 days up in Staples. So what come out of that is meeting a few city administrators, scary or unscary, however you want to look at it, out of some of the wage equity reports that I'm going to have to you in November. It's the number of new city administrators just within an hour area here is crazy. There was 10 actually of the ones that I was dealing with right close to the area around here. So, and a couple of, and I will tell you that I'm in a better position than for sure 8 of them, 9 of them, because a couple of them got thrown to the wolves, you know, middle of September, and they get there, get hired, and there's been nothing done with budgeting and things like that. So it's I've been, you know, I feel that I've been blessed in that way where I've had good people here, and the amount of people that are, or amount of cities that are short-handed with people is crazy. First department head meeting last Friday went well. It was just we opened it to any employees that wanted to come, and just sat around the table and talked about expectations or where we want to go from here, how often we want to have those meetings, and just kind of told everybody that my door is really open at all times. Met with a few employees besides Shane, Diane, and Tyler, who the 3 of them are probably sick of me already. But I met with a few of the other employees that I told you that I would, in the first 60 days, I would be meeting with everybody. And the next couple of weeks are going to be tough that I'll be gone. A couple of days this week and 3 days next week, but I'm continuing to meet with them just to get concerns and where we can go from here and things that we possibly need to change or if we need to change them. Setting up my Cassell training, hopefully for November. And then my next after that would be 2 days in March that I have training in St. Cloud. So getting the things that were asked of me out of the hiring committee taken care of, and actually a little bit more. I think it's needed. So that's what I have for my update. Anybody got any questions for me?
What's the training in St. Cloud?
It's basically where all the clerks and deputy clerks are getting together, and they actually go over new laws, new rules. League of Minnesota City runs it. There's things like Ellers will have a booth there to sit down with, or our old auditing company will have a booth there. It'll be anybody that deals with city government has booths there. So for a day and a half, 2 days, 2-day period.
Yeah, well, Jeff, I'm pleased that you're getting all of this training in, and especially meeting with the other city administrators in the area. And I think that's a great goal to try, and you're going to try and talk to all city employees then this
I think
Sometime
by
this
the end of
fall.
November,
Okay.
that should be done. That would be 60 days is what we talked about earlier, so I think that should be an easy task. I'll have more time October's gonna be beyond us here in no time, so.
Okay, great. See, I got one other question for you, and that kind of came to mind here when Val was talking about this previously budgeted mural project. But have you come up with anything on the downtown furniture and bollards and the benches and so forth? I think I brought it up
Yep.
previously.
Actually, Shane, can you come up there? I left my computer in there. Shane and I have had a couple of meetings on this. So for 2023, we had $15,000 that were budgeted for downtown improvements, downtown beautification. And we had talked about benches, we had talked about bollards that we're going to show you some pictures of that. And again, we are budgeted for this in 2023. So, if we want to do some things, we just wanted to run it by the city council first. Do you want this here?
Yeah, let me find it quick here.
Sorry. So we wanted to run this past you just so we're all on the same page. That is the right one, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So more than anything else, when Shane and I, we talked about it in the Parks meeting, we talked about it in other meetings, and then Shane and I actually discussed it 3 or 4 times in the past 2 weeks. We just thought we'd run it past you, show you some pictures, kind of give you an idea of what we can afford and what we would like to do yet this year. So, and put you on the spot, did I?
No, just had to find it. Can you see that, or make it bigger? Make it bigger.
We just need to see the picture.
So you're going to see some pictures of a couple of cities that have these same things. It's kind of the finishing touches of the already controversial a little bit, the bump outs. So these would be...
So they're 42 inches tall from the bottom to the very top. And it's the same design as our current streetlights. So it's the same. If you cut the streetlight off and put a little ball on top, it looks the same on the bottom. So it's actually the same company.
And these would go on the bump outs?
kind of defining where the crosswalks would be. Kind of finishing them off is what it is.
Would it make more sense to use that money to get rid of them bump outs?
No,
Do you know how much more money that would be?
and they don't need to go, so.
You better ask somebody that moves snow around them before you speak, mister.
Or me, who sometimes has my tire kind of edging up on the curb a little as I'm moving.
But anyway,
So is that a light, that little circle on the top, or?
So
it's
you can
just
get
a-
these where these flutings here are lit, but then you got to put infrastructure in for them. You run conduits to each one, and it's going to get real
So
expensive.
it's just a decorative
Decorative.
post? And how
Similar to
much
what-
per post?
These are $620 a piece.
620.
I think we counted 16 that we need to do the one by the old bank and this intersection over here at 3rd and Morgan.
So we'd be doing this instead of benches?
Well, I think they want to do a little of both.
It would be both.
16 of them?
Yeah, where'd you come up with 16?
I think if you show pictures of Springfield, what we came up with, and then
3, 4.
did you actually get the picture that I sent you of Granite Falls
should use up $10,000.
When did you send that?
today?
I got something for you, but there's no attachment.
Yeah, okay. When I sent it to myself, I couldn't open it up either, but at least we can.
So you want the one Seth sent?
Yes.
Okay. We can open this as a.
Are those gonna get nailed when they do snow removal?
I hope not.
Well, they would be back in.
A little ways, yeah. They wouldn't be right on the curb themselves. you'd have to hit the curb first.
I'm just trying to weigh the pros of a decorative post versus being able to just do straight snow removal without having to go around another structure.
The downfall is there would be snow left by them, just like a street light.
So there would be no hiding on these, they'd be more decorative and it would call attention to
So that's the size of
crosswalk?
them?
No lighting.
So they're
yes.
about that size.
So now you take a
I
look
would
at-
think that would be a
That's Springfield
snow
there?
removal nightmare.
So
Shane?
they have like 8 of them, I think, on every bump out.
That's in Springfield?
This is Springfield's, and they're all lit.
Yeah, theirs are all lit too.
They have, they have wiring underneath, but for ours, what we looked at was put them on each side of the crosswalks and just limit it to that. Here they went all the way around the whole bump out. But I think that's going to be,
And when we looked at it right away and
That
looked
would be a
at what
pain
we
in
were,
the butt.
we were budgeted, it was the 3 on each corner here on Morgan and Third, and then 2 on the corners up there. I'm missing one now.
do you want me to pull up a,
I'll be honest, I drove down Springfield's street that had those
I don't know.
on there with the bump outs. And it was like, I'm glad we didn't do that because they would be a pain to maintain. And if you don't think they're gonna get hit,
switch to the other screen quick,
Right now, people are hitting the curb.
broadcast my
I'd rather them hit a curb than
computer to everybody
these.
here.
You can fix the curb a
I
little
mean,
better
I don't
than-
see how they can be such a snow removal headache because, I mean, how many does Marshall have downtown? I mean, I bet there's 50 or 60. And it gives a defining place to put planters and benches and
All right, that's one by the bank.
and for the safety of crosswalks.
Apparently doesn't like that area. There we go. I don't know why it's doing that to me. Let's zoom out once more here. I can't win.
Got you one way or the other.
Let me try this. There. Oh no, they're gone. It's too old.
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, I guess that's what it's going to be. So then be looking at, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 15, 16 there. And then if you do on each side of the crosswalk.
Would that,
And then here there'd be 4 more.
is that necessary to have on each side of the crosswalk?
Well, if you put it on one side, you should put it on the other because it's going to look funny. But they're going to have to be out of the ramp,
Go back to the other one.
the other intersection.
Yeah.
Somehow we had looked at it earlier about 3 on the corner, I thought. Because I thought it was a total of 16, so 3, 6, 9, 12, and then the 4 on the corner of South Street, and then 4 on there.
And not doing it on the crosswalks.
Yeah, well, there was only, I thought we had come up with 16 somehow.
Well, 16 for this intersection. but then there was 4 more on the other end.
Over 20, is it?
Yeah.
By the post office.
Post
Yep.
office and the-
And you put them down by the bank and that too.
Where we would,
That's the intersection. You come up and you're, all of a sudden that bump out is right in your face as you're coming down towards Main Street, or going down Main Street. And you're driving over here and all of a sudden here comes this bump out.
Well,
I mean, I think that almost needs something to
Right.
designate, hey, I'm here, this bump out.
Yeah, and you could add 4 more down there, but
Because I guess I'm not for these.
What else you got?
Yeah, it's like, we got something better to spend our $10,000 on.
Well, if we, what were our considerations? These kind of defining where our crosswalks are, benches, and was it flower pots?
possibly, yeah.
Yeah. I think for aesthetic and just a bang for the buck, it'd almost be better to focus on benches and flower pots for just my
Well,
observation.
Jan, if you look at any downtown, almost all of them that's been redone in recent years, they all have bump outs. I mean, if we want Tracy to, I mean, the goal, I assume, when the council 3 years ago went with the bump outs and the design when the street was done, I assume the goal was to try and make our downtown more attractive, more upscale, so that we can hopefully help it get people interested in these vacant buildings and draw more things to downtown.
So I'm not that upset about them. It is what it is, and I am okay with living with it. I'm not to the, wanting to tear them out. I'm just saying if we have limited funds to beautify the downtown area, do these add that much aesthetically, or?
Personally, I think they do. I think that would be a first phase, not that we have to do everything all at once, but I think it would be a nice first step to making, right now the bump outs look kind of ridiculous. Why? I mean, they're just kind of out there, and if we don't, so I guess I feel if we started it, we authorized it, we thought it was a good idea, and I think we need to follow through.
so this is Marshall's, just for a sample. I can only do Lyon County on this mapping, but they got each side of the bump out here, they got each side of the bump out there, then a few to fill in there. It's just an example. So I think the other intersections are
So do they have
similar.
a practical application, like keeping people from driving up on the sidewalk?
That's what they're intended for.
Okay.
Yep.
But
and define
that's some aesthetic.
the crosswalk too.
And pedestrian safety, just so a car doesn't go. They're not going to stop a car. They're going to snap off. They're made to snap off for.
So you'll be okay, Jim.
And I do know there's several a year hit in Marshall. They have to go out and replace them, but they have a lot more truck traffic than we have down in our downtown. But it's typically semis turning, turn wide enough. But
You mentioned that what we average maybe one pole that someone hits and damages a year, or is that a little strong?
I would say one every 2 years.
Okay.
I think we've replaced like 7 or 8 since '07, so that's about right. I mean, one a tree fell on, one a bus turned too sharp and hit. 2 were hit by our guys. Just some snow removal, but most of them are cars.
Can you have it so you can see this side?
Yeah, I can turn to the north. Is that what you're after?
Yeah. That must be the flower garden thing that they have. over
Yeah,
there.
this is a gambler here. The only
Well,
difference
there's
between
lit.
Tracy and Marshall is Marshall, they require all the businesses downtown to remove their own snow. They have to push it in the street within a certain amount of time. Where here, we do all that and bill it out.
Are marshals lit?
They are not, no. No. They got a lot more street lighting. So, I guess they don't really need to have theirs lit, but. I don't know what lighted ones cost, but I know the infrastructure alone is gonna probably be quadruple what the bollards cost, so. I know in '07 when we put the street lights up, it was 40 street lights, and it was $500,000 roughly, so. You know, you're gonna have to put more infrastructure in for these, because each one will have to be treated like a street light, in essence, so.
Yeah, we don't have near anything, if you're just looking at the budget, we don't have near
No,
Marshall's doesn't light up.
no.
the budget for that.
I don't know if any other towns in Lyon County have them.
So my imagination, are there bump outs less, more gradual and less deep?
There's a lot wider road, so they look smaller, but
Oh, okay.
you know there's still a parking lane width out. If you draw this, these are parking lanes, so about the same width. Ours is just a narrower street, so they look like they go out in the street a lot further.
And these have turning lanes, both of them have turning lanes on them, so there's 3 lanes total with parking on both sides.
I guess I'd like to see some other options other than these,
As far as,
like some planters or something that we could still buy this year.
I mean, the sky's the limit, it's just what the council wants, and
Well, but we budgeted,
15,000.
so the sky's not,
As far as what though?
we have to stay within the budget.
Yeah, but as far as what you do with it, I mean,
Yeah,
you could do all benches, you could do some, a hybrid of different things, or you
were
could do
the
all
flags
planters.
taken out of the thing?
And that was the other thing I'd asked Jeff too, is banners,
Yeah, or banners, I mean.
I don't know where that ended. I know it was discussed, but,
Discussed, but that's all the funding's gone.
I
because,
guess I'd like to
I
see
like the
some
banners.
banners, and I thought, because, I'm looking at you, Pear, because wasn't Above the Fold gonna work with us on the design or something?
that's what I had heard, but that,
Because of kind of,
because I showed Eric when
Can
he
we
was.
still do something in '23 with some kind of banners? I mean, not that we have to hang them in the middle of the winter. Now, this guy's not.
It is, as far as what you do, it's just how much you can do is the limiting factor.
But was there some piece of the pole or something?
So I brought those to Eric, and I never really heard one way or another.
What were the banners made out of?
I don't think,
Vinyl,
I think,
obviously thicker than a flag that shreds. and-
yeah, it's like a vinyl, it's flexible.
because what is it, like Curry's, they have those banners up all the time. I don't know, I mean, for at least a few years. What are those made out of?
I think those are fabric.
They might be.
Ours, for the Christmas decorations, we have those banners that we put up. They're fabric. Those are triangle shaped, so they go on a pole on top. Take the end of the pole off, slide them on, and then put the end back on, and then on the bottom it just ties to an eyelet. So, I mean, you could do that, or if you do want a banner, it's going to have to be custom and fairly precise. But I think that's going to probably change the holiday decorations, because we're going to have to add the hardware on, and then it's going to be in the way of other things.
Take the banners down for the holidays.
Or winter.
You could, but you have to take all the hardware off.
I was
too.
just gonna say, but it's the piece that gets added to the pole, that would,
Problem with taking the hardware off, and we had the problem with the flags too, is it's all aluminum, so the threads after you take them in and out, the flag brackets lasted about 10 years, and now we just drilled a hole through them all and put a pin in them because the set screws, and we tapped them out like 3 different times, and there's just nothing left there to screw them into. So we just modified it so we could make it a little easier and save the brackets. Otherwise, they charge $125 a bracket times 40, so it gets real expensive to replace them all the time. So that was our cheaper fix, and no one really notices.
I'd definitely like to see some banners put back down there.
And I think I'm gonna be honest, those boxcar banners that we've been putting up are kind of hideous. So
What?
the boxcar banners,
What?
kind of hideous.
Oh,
You know, they look fine, you know, when they're newer, but they're so tattered right now that
What kind of material are they?
they're like I think they're like a polyester almost. And I don't know when.
So this vinyl that you're talking about would last longer, you're thinking?
I'm not an expert, but I would assume.
Well, you're recorded, so we'll hold you to it.
Put that in the minutes.
I'm a writer, I don't do song, I mean, we do them, or we get them done, and then
Could you find out from the manufacturer, like estimated life, more than recent?
So in 2008, so the Christmas banners are up from a week before Thanksgiving all the way to mid-January, first week of January for sure. You know, so they're looking at a month and a half, at least a year that they're out. And I can bring one of those in. They almost feel like a canvas, but they're a fabric of some sort. So, and they're holding up pretty good. We had to replace the ties on them, but that's about it. So, they've never had one rip, really. We've had them come off.
They're more of a heavy duty fabric.
Yeah. They're even heavier than like the American flag material. So I'm not sure where they got those.
What other town, I know I see in Curry, they have banners up. Other towns that maybe we could call and say, how long have you had your banners and what are they made out of?
I know Brookings has them, and they have the same, of course, it's a lot bigger, you know, 6 or 7 blocks, 3 blocks long, but it's, but they have the banners and the bump outs and the ballards and everything. I think, I don't know what Marshall has, I'm more familiar with Brookings.
Marshalls are, I think those are rectangular fabric, if I recall. I don't think they're up all year either. I think they do, they're seasonal.
I mean, a lot of companies will give you names of past customers as a reference for people to call and see.
I think I've seen them in Granite Falls too.
You know, that if we could make some phone calls to some other communities, just saying, what do you have, how long have you had them, what are they made out of? But I know companies a lot of times will give you their satisfied customers that we could find out.
I think we can bring some examples back and maybe some costs of some banners. And we can,
I don't know if Springfield has banners. Anyone notice?
I think they just have some seasonal ones too, if I remember right.
Okay.
You know, I don't want us to have to do something different with our Christmas decorations. I mean, it's not worth that.
Yeah, I don't know where those came from. I mean, Audrey would have ordered those. Unless Jeff, you may have that in your office somewhere.
someplace in there, yeah.
So,
We'll talk to you in 3 years. What about the benches themselves? Any thoughts on downtown benches?
I think benches are nice.
I'd say right now, get some pricing, because we're already in October, where if we know, okay, if we want to do banners, we're going to spend the $10,000. or if the banners are gonna be $6,000 and we can get a couple benches or a couple planters, get the prices so we can kind of see what we could afford.
I know Slayton has benches. I've sat on them.
So they're
Don't have my
used?
shots.
So they're used.
Yeah, I use it.
I think some benches would be nice. So yeah, figure out how much banners are and
Okay,
benches and
I think we can bring
Go from
those back for the 23rd.
Perfect. Yeah, it might be a busy meeting, but we'll put it in there.
We can have that as one of the few topics besides open to the public that night for.
That's the hearing, right?
Yep.
The hearings.
Might have a full house,
Don't know.
but it might only be for the beginning too.
We can do that though. We can work on that. We'll figure it out.
Yep.
We can work on that over one of the days that I'm here. Okay.
Okay.
Thanks, Shane.
Yep.
Any other comments, questions on that?
The only other thing is if you're going to contact some companies, maybe to see what their lead time is, or if they would invoice us, or how we do that so we can make sure we spend 23's money.
Right. No, I already thought of that.
Okay.
We'd want to do that where we'd want an advance invoice type of thing.
Mhm.
Yep. Okay.
Okay.
All right, we got 8C, set the date for the meeting with the CCWG, the Community Center Work Group, and Bowling. I talked to Bowling today, and they said that that meeting would be a minimum of 1 hour, if not all the way up to 2 hours. So I sent that note out to everybody here, I think it was last week, asking some of the dates. I guess some of the comments of availability, the 7th, 8th, and 9th, the week of 7th, 8th, and 9th of November. There was plenty that they were going to struggle with a few of those days. The 13th is when we have a city council meeting. I mean, we could have it that night. If you're looking for suggestions, maybe a suggestion of us maybe having our work study or work session as a group. It'd be a long meeting, but you could have Bowling here to talk about, talk to the whole group, the 12 of you or 13 of you, and then the city council meeting, and then possibly have a part of that meeting is the us having a work session, talking about my old position and a few other things with what I learned with employees.
But if they're talking 2 hours, that would be 4:30.
Well,
We'd
5:30 to 9:30 for sure. But at least it would all be on one day. I'm trying to not get you in here on 2 separate days. We could split that up and come back in on the 14th, or do I work it out? I believe what I have to say to you is less than an hour to go over some things with you. Are you laughing, Brother George?
I don't know if I want to mess that in with
Okay.
the whole bowling thing, though.
Okay.
I think it's too much
Okay.
to do on one date.
All right, so the 13th is when the next city council meeting is. Did you want something to go along with, with that to start thinking about that meeting? Possibly, but we also have the 27th also. And that would be the Monday after Thanksgiving.
So the bowling meeting, we're talking 2 hours.
I asked if you could get it done, they could get it done in an hour, and they said doubtful, more on the line, an hour and a half to 2 hours is what they
Is
told me.
that just with the CCW?
Yes, and that would be talking about building location, building size, kitchen size, style, budget on that, utilities at the site, room sizes, just kind of going over just with the group. Of course, it would be open to the public, but it would be on the line, and before they can give us a price, they need to know what they're pricing out.
Okay, I thought the thing with Bolig was they were also still gonna be meeting with the public.
This would be that, is the work group itself.
I don't know if we can have the meeting with the public voicing what they all think we should do and have at the same meeting as we're saying we need this amount of space for these rooms, because everyone that comes is going to say, why did you even have us come if you already are planning out the sizes of your rooms and your kitchen and everything? You've already made your choice.
So you're saying you want that meeting all at the same time then?
No, I'm saying I don't know if you can have them at the same time. Because
Well, what if you allowed 1/2 hour for the public input and then turn it over to the work group for more, because you would have heard the public first.
But are the public going to feel like they were heard when then the work group, which includes us, is going to say, well, we need a commercial kitchen? What if the public that come are the ones that are saying, we don't need the building, we don't need a kitchen? You know, if we're then telling Bolig, well, yes, we want a kitchen and it needs to be commercial. I mean, am I making sense?
Right. But what you're gonna have for people coming are people that have strong opinions. If people are okay with doing a new building, but they're not gonna necessarily come and advocate for it, or a commercial kitchen. What I think will probably attract more are people that are totally against it. But does that represent our entire population, or is it just louder voices?
Jerry, are you suggesting we have a public comment meeting ahead of the work group meeting with Boling?
To be honest with you, with this whole project, I'm just getting so twisted around, and
I'm not so sure, the people that are against it surely have a right to come, but we've already moved past that. I mean, they went out and raised $750,000, so the people that raised the money would like to see something happen. And the naysayers coming up at this time, to me, and I got nothing against naysayers, but it's too late. We've already got the money, or they have the money, and whoever. So it's too late to cry wolf. It's time to get on board and accept it.
well, and I guess as I'm sitting here going through my mind, Bolig is asking the size of the rooms, is it for two different locations? It would be if we totally built new, or if we renovated a building,
So,
right?
One particular building, so we cut it down to 2 this past time.
Yes. So I guess as long as people understand it's that it is to the point of it's either right now what's being considered is new here or renovate over there across the street. Those are the two choices. We've narrowed it down as a full group.
Well, we're down to one choice, actually,
Yeah, I was gonna say.
because the
we
rules
lost
got
one.
sold,
It hasn't been, there's
finalized.
there's nothing final, yes.
I was going to say,
checked on that
I thought we had right of first refusal.
Not in the,
We have a right to get our money.
we could probably we could if we wanted it. but, It's not in the, I don't believe it's in the contract for right of first refusal.
I don't believe it is.
So,
You pulled that up earlier, didn't you? You or Shane or somebody? Because I thought when we sold that building, we put some, I'm looking at you, Dave, because you were on the council. You were,
I don't,
It was,
didn't we
it was
put
sold
some in there?
contract for deed. That's all it was sold. For X amount of dollars.
And I thought we put a safeguard in there because we talked about we didn't want it to turn into another Anderson building, that someone from Timbuktu could come in to buy it and let it sit and just disintegrate, and there is nothing we could do.
I believe O'Brien Court has
We
that.
can check that out.
So when will we know if that, when that gets finalized? Do we know?
I don't know if that will be before or after the 12th or 13th or whenever we decide that. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not getting a clear answer. I'm in touch with the parties. I'm staying out of it. I mean, it's none of my, it's not my business, but except for EDA part of it.
Oh, okay, so the Flag Moose owner and the potential buyer are dealing solely with each other.
Yes. Yep. I was at the initial meeting with the expectation of, what you can and can't do, and I got that information from Matt about what they can and can't do with the contract for deed in this instance where, regardless if it changes hands is through, if there's a chance that they could sell the contract for deed, and then the new people would continue on with those payments. That is fine. There's nothing in that contract that says they can't do that. Or if there's just a flat sale on the property, then we get our, I think it's $37,000 is what's owed.
So you checked into this already? They can sell the contract for deed? I've never heard of such a thing.
Yes.
Ever.
It's an assignment of a contract. They're assigning their interest in the contract to the new owners.
So what does the city have that's guaranteed then?
We still have a lien on the property.
Yeah, it's still the
Same
same
lien would be
terms. It's just different owners.
Well, I would not ever be in favor of that. That would never ever. Get our money and be done. If it's changing hands.
Well, to get back to the original thing we were talking about, the meeting with the engineers and the work group, and there were some, we were trying to decide how can we get the public input. If someone says, I definitely want a billiard room in the new facility. To me, it seems like if we would allow a half hour ahead of the regular meeting and solicited, I made it known that people can come in and state what they feel we really need in the building, that would be sufficient, that we can do it all in one night.
But that doesn't necessarily mean we have to do it. I mean,
Right.
have the building room or.
No, but the public has an opportunity to say, I think this is really important in the project.
Yeah, I think that
Kind
would,
of what I had said earlier,
Yeah.
was have a meeting with the public first,
mhm.
set a time limit that's
Yeah.
fair. I mean, quite a few voices could speak in 1/2 hour.
Well, because we can limit for length of time of people to speak like we do at a council meeting, so that it doesn't last an hour and a half before we even get to the other part.
And I believe I'd have to ask them, but I believe Pollock would run that part of the meeting also. I mean, I'm here to help them, but I think that'd be a part of what they would be contracted to do.
So Diane would be forced to say your time's up.
Well, I think to hold it to, so it doesn't get carried away, I still think it would be under public comment, yeah.
Okay, so we'll have that half an hour before. And what day are we having that on now?
We're down to the 14th. If we can't do a council meeting and a bowling meeting and the sharing of your employee meetings, so.
But we should be able to do like your sharing before a council meeting, couldn't we?
We could do it before or after.
Yeah, or after, whatever works for everybody. Okay, so are we looking at the 14th? Is that what you said?
Well, the 13th
Meeting's
is
the
the,
13th.
yeah, the 13th is the first city council meeting of November. So if you wanted to have them on consecutive nights, the 13th and the 14th, they have the 14th as being available. They were available the 7th, 8th, 9th, 13th, or the 14th.
Who's they? Bowling?
Bowling, yeah.
But the issue with the 14th is that there were some conflicts with at least one council member, as I recall.
On the 14th?
On the 14th, wasn't it
I
not?
won't be here.
He turns 50.
Oh, yeah.
I wish.
Trying to put a good spin on it, Dave.
You're off a few years.
I would support the.
But I mean, if I'm the
14th.
only one, go ahead and meet. It's like,
That work for the rest?
Everybody else do the 14th?
At this point, yes.
Yeah,
Then we'll
no.
go November 14th.
Could we start that at 5:30? Is that all right? Or it
Sure.
doesn't matter
Well,
to me?
bowling had said 6.
6, yeah, I don't care.
So, no.
I think they were
just-
pretty open to,
They could come sooner?
Yeah.
I just thought maybe that was the only time they could come.
I think they were pretty open. Didn't that sound like to you, Shane, when we talked to them?
Yeah.
They were pretty open
Oh, okay.
on the nights. They were gonna send us the note, and then I know it isn't a complete agenda, but it's the 5 things that they would be discussing.
So November 14th at
So,
5:30?
5:30 for the public and then 6 o'clock for
Well, they'd
the
have
rest
to
of
be,
us?
It's the public, or is it gonna be open to all of it? It's just that the open.
Oh, the open part of it.
The open
Okay.
part of
Right,
it.
the comment section.
Is 5:30, is that making it a little tougher for the general public to attend, you know, getting over the supper hour and so forth, for people getting off of work?
you're never gonna pick the perfect time.
No, I know that, I'm just asking the question.
And I guess if they have a strong opinion, hopefully they'd be able to be here before 6, because the public opinion would be from 5:30 to 6.
That's
That-
why you want Diane to set it up, and Diane and I to set it up would be from, let's say it is 5:30 to 6 would be public comment open,
To the general rules, limited time.
right, but it would still be open, you know, the meeting from 6 to
Yes.
7:30 would still be open.
Yeah.
They would
Yeah.
still be
Everybody can stay.
Okay,
So we might have to think about not having it, or where we would have that meeting. I think we'd still be all right here.
yeah.
okay. Is that okay with everyone then, 5:30 on the 14th?
Okay.
Well, and hopefully by November 14th, it's known if we're just looking at one site.
It'll help us a month down the road. And I will stay on top of that to make sure that I have at least an idea.
And I am assuming, Matt, you, Shane, somebody looked at that contract.
And I know that the contract for O'Brien Court was a first writer of, in one of the contracts, whether it's Sanford or I will look. You'll know that right away too. In fact, I'll get that to you this weekend.
That was in O'Brien Court, and Sanford had that in there.
Could have been. And that could be what I'm thinking of, and so you'll know that this week by email. You'll know that this week.
I just thought we did it with this building too, knowing the challenges we're having with another building downtown already.
Let me look and I'll let you know on by Friday. Okay? And we don't have to discuss the work group or work session yet. We can decide that a little later. We could do that on the 13th, or we could wait till the 27th also to do that. Depending on, you know, what kind of agenda we have. And I shouldn't take, it shouldn't take an hour. You know, just to explain to you what I've learned so far. And again, you're smiling, George, so you think I'm gonna take more than that.
Well, you'd
Okay.
think that we
Just
would want
happy.
that on a day that's not got the whole department head meeting thing.
And I wish I could tell you right now that November and December are a little bit less, you know, busy on the agendas, but off the top of my head, I couldn't tell you that.
Well, we just have the one in December. so
Yeah, which I'm not at.
It'll go quick then.
Yeah. Diane will finish it fast. Thank you, Diane.
Okay, you'll know that, and then I will talk to Bollig, and then you'll know about what was in the contract over here before the end of the week. Okay?
Okay. And move on to the new business.
Okay, new business, number one, resolution 2023-97, approval of late fees and who can waive them. This is the conversation that we had 2 weeks ago, and it was decided that it would be out of my office on the decision that we made after just discussing it with the people that are looking to get their fees taken care of for one reason or another, whether it's dates or whatever, and then I would work with Krista on that. I already talked to Krista about that, so she knows that we would be working on that together. So that's about as simple as you can get. And then if they don't like my decision, then it would come to or if I feel that it needs to come to the council, then I'm going to the council.
But will they be able to do like they do now? If payment comes in, it's postmarked before,
Yeah.
they can just take those fees off?
Yeah.
You don't have to be bothered with those?
It was very rare. I talked to Krista, she said it's just very rare.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we've had a couple other instances that, not of the same thing, that come up in the last 2 weeks already too, so. But nothing that can't be handled right
Okay.
now.
I'll make that motion then, resolution 2023-97.
I'll second that.
First and second, any discussion on that? Roll call, please.
Jones,
Aye.
Monday,
Aye.
Teagues,
Aye.
Lisa,
I,
Schmidt,
Yes.
Mayor Coleman.
Aye.
Okay, we have 9.2 or 9A2 right now, resolution 2023-98, budget amendment number 3. So when Eric and I worked on this, we didn't know when the application was going to be due for the small cities grant that we all know that we received now. So we didn't know when the $20,000 that they needed administration fees at UCAP ahead of time. So we didn't know whether it was we didn't know it far enough to budget it for 2023, but we also knew it was going to be coming out of the CDBG account because that's the monies that are set aside or reserved for any kind of projects like that. So essentially what that is is it's adjusting that $20,000 for that. And then also we had the $7,500 that we're adjusting that we received from West Central Realtors Association for the housing project that we had. So it was the bills paid to UCAP for their services, and then also for the monies that are going to be received there is $7,500. But it all is out of the CDBG account, which is used for those type of things.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2023-98 for the budget amendment 3.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Schmidt,
Yes.
Jones,
Aye.
Monday,
Aye.
Lisa,
yes.
Teagues,
Aye.
Mayor Coleman.
Aye.
Would like to thank Matt Knockquist for letting me put his name on there. He's a part of the West Central Realtors Association, so they needed a sponsor on it, and without any funds from them, they were just able to put their name on it. I think that helped push it through too, 'cause I'm a member of that, and then so is Matt, so having a couple people on that got us the $7,500 extra that we weren't expecting. Resolution number 3, resolution 2023, okay, we already went through
We
that.
did that
That was
one.
done.
Down to 4.
That was down to number 4. So we got a note from Lyon County. Every year, the Lyon County received $6,934 in voting operations for technology and for election resources. They're just account funds. By December 31st, 25% of those need to be used up. And so that would come out to $1,733. If you split that up to all the cities and all the townships, it comes out to about $58 a piece. So it really isn't anything except for they need this taken care of and voted on here. So instead of us getting our $58, we'd be a part of the county getting a new voting box that is right at about $7,100, and then they would have pretty close to getting a new voting system.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2023-101.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Good health.
Landay,
Landay?
George, you.
He's just kidding.
Aye.
Schmidt,
Yes.
Lisa,
Yes.
Teagues,
Aye.
Jones,
Aye.
Mayor Plummer.
Aye. With that, it looks like we need a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
A lot of enthusiasm for that one. Okay?
Like,
I was really hoping for an hour. I was really pushing us towards an hour.